Great day, kings and queens. Welcome to another conversation with Drew. We're such an honor to share my gift with you guys on this platform, to bless you guys each morning. It's also such a pleasure and honor, to share the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom of God through these experiences that I've been able to have in life. It's such a blessing, to be a vessel, to show, each and every one who I come in contact with directly and indirectly how to become the best versions of themselves, as I strive daily to become the best version of myself. If you've been rocking with me, man, you've been understanding, man, that this piece about forgiveness, man, has been so powerful in our lives. It's been life-changing for many. Those who have, been applying the principle, man, it's been a blessing. To see, how it's been having an amazing impact in their lives immediately. And, those who are struggling with it, great morning, Queen, those who are struggling with it, I've realized and been able to identify that it's been a prideful thing. You can't become an eagle, because of your ego. And it's so amazing. When you recognize and you truly, great morning, Queen, is so amazing when you finally recognize that you are in your own way. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with no one else. It has everything to do with you, and you are in your own way. I had this young lady reach out to me, and she was trying to comprehend the video that I had posted yesterday about God not allowing God allowing and permitting things to happen in our lives. Despite our choices, God still allows certain things to happen. That's just like people who are, who have done things right, who got married, who's trying to have children, but still unable to have children. God permits and allows certain things to happen to certain people. Why? Because he created you. He's the manufacturer. So therefore, he knows what you can handle. He knows everything that you're capable of fully handling. Therefore, your test is going to be different from my test. Why? Because he created me to be able to handle more, to be able to withstand more, or he created you to be able to withstand and handle more. Regardless of your choices, regardless of what you feel like you did or you didn't do. Everything that happened to us, is by design. Everything that happened to us is by from a creative mind. And it's such a blessing when God revealed to me this thing about forgiveness. And it really helped me to recognize a lot of people's issues in life. Because your ego won't allow you to go and to do this piece about forgiveness, right? And it's literally anchors hanging on you when you do not forgive. And that's what helped me to recognize how I became free, how I was able to then trust God, how I was able to then operate in the true functioning of trusting, because I allowed the things of my past to go. I allowed the things that I do not understand I let them go, because now I recognize that I have this relationship with the Father, the Creator, the manufacturer, with the universe, whatever you choose to call it, and it set me free. But it came from my forgiveness, and it came from me truly letting go. When she was, this young lady in particular was saying that, she was having such a hard time, going to her parents, and pouring this resentment out, and when you recognize that, what's the worst can happen? That's what I realized in life. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? Like somebody saying no to you, somebody not agreeing with you, somebody not appreciating what you like. It's like, what's the worst that can happen? People don't recognize, like, it was so challenging and so hard for me to call my dad that I hadn't had a real relationship with for 32 years, to call him to the home, and literally stand before him and pour out stuff that I was holding on since I was a little kid. Like, people don't understand how hard that was, how challenging it was. But the reason why it wasn't as challenging, because it was like, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna say, no, and not be in my life? You know what I mean? Well, he wasn't in my life for 32 years. So it was like, what's the worst that can happen? But on the flip side, on the contrary, the best that can happen, that's where my mind was. The best that can happen, I can actually get a relationship with him again. I can get something that I never had with him again. And that's what blessed me, right? Because when you fear rejection, when you fear abandonment, when you fear disappointment, when you fear those things, then that is your ego. Why? Because God created you to succeed. God created you to have have abundance. God created you to prosper. Therefore, if you are afraid of rejection, that's your own ego. Why? Because if you're operating in the faith and expectation of prosperity, of abundance, of wealth, then you have to know that what it is that you're going to experience must succeed. It has to succeed. The only will for it is to succeed, because you were created from success. You were created from abundance. You weren't created in rejection. You weren't created in fear. You weren't created in doubt. You were created in abundance, prosperity, success. You were created out of that. Period. Once you conceptually grasp that, you will understand that what's the worst that can happen? Literally, what's the worst that can happen? And so your ego says, well, what if they respond like this? Or what if they don't respond? Or what if they say this? Or what if they reject me? Man, listen, that does not matter, right? Because it was just like for the past 2-3 months, right? The freaking tub at the house has just been giving us hell, right? I'm talking about, man, we done put about $50-$60 worth of Drano down this bad boy. We done plunged this bad boy. We done put the snake down this bad boy. I'm talking about, man, it was blocked up, right? And I'm talking about, it got to the point where it was like, you know, it flooded, and it was some nasty stuff, because when you take a shower, it floods. So it was just like driving you crazy. Like, here it is, I'm trying to get clean, but it felt like my feet is still dirty, right? It was driving me nuts. And so, had to call a plunger, not a plunger, but a plumber over, right? And he had this big boy snake. He used the official snake, and he had a drill attached to it, right? And he put it down there, and you can hear him down there drilling, and it was spinning, and it was spinning, and it was spinning, and it was spinning. And you can hear him working on pipes, trying to get down in the pipes. We was thinking that the pipes gonna have to be disconnected and find something in that bad boy. So he drilling. You know what I mean? With the snake. And then all of a sudden, when he pulled it out, it's like this hair net. Like a piece of a hairnet. I think the kids was playing one day and stuffed something down there. I mean, literally for the last 2 or 3 months, my point of it all is that unforgiveness, resentment, guilt is that hairnet. And it will clog up your life if you do not allow the plumber of life, God, to work his principle in your life of forgiveness. You understand what I'm saying? It will drive you crazy. It will block up your blessings. It won't allow you to prosper in life and be the greatest version of yourself. And it can be something so small as a hairnet, or something so small as unforgiveness that you cannot see. We couldn't see that hairnet. We didn't realize and recognize what the heck was so deep down in those pipes that was keeping that water from flowing and keeping that fluidity from going down there, that we can enjoy a regular shower. Why? Because it was the unforgiveness of life that you don't understand and recognize. That's what's keeping you from being the greatest version of yourself. Why you think I've been doing this video of unforgiveness for the last 2.5-3 weeks? Because I found the solution to your problems. Your ego is in the way. Your ego will not allow you to become the ego that God created you to be, to soar in the earth, to be the greatest version of yourself. Your ego, your pride. Because again, what's the worst that can happen? Rejection? That's it. Somebody may not agree with the fact that you're pouring out this resentment and guilt that you held towards them for years. That's it. That's it, literally. Your ego, your pride. It says pride comes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Your ego. That's it. So when you recognize and you finally grasp the understanding that it does not matter what somebody did, it does not matter what they said. If it bothered you, it says confess your trespasses with one another and then pray with one another, or pray for one another so that you may be healed. That's not a scripture. That's a law. That's a law. So when I confess my trespasses against my father, it healed us. When he confessed his trespasses, his guilt, it healed us. When a young lady went before her child's father, who she had 2 children with, and she believed that his ego was going to get in the way. She believed that his pride would get in the way. She believed that she would be rejected, but she still did it. She said the man broke down and cried with her. Law. Law. My guy Murph had this resentment in his heart for meeting his now wife after his first wife died of a few decades. He went to his wife. Why? Because when we were having a conversation, he was realizing that he was holding this guilt in his heart. And so this dream kept coming back to him over and over again of his first wife coming back while he was still married to January. And so he couldn't figure it out. And it was guilt. So then when he went to January, right? Listen, this is so crazy, right? Because I was thinking that it was going to take Murph some time, because I was thinking with my mind like, ooh, something like that I had to marinate on. Man, Murph went and did it in the same exact day. Why? He's 60-something years old. He ain't got no more ego or pride left. And he went to his wife and he said it was one of the most beautiful experiences that he had. Because he had to tell his wife that I was sorry for holding on to this guilt for meeting you 3 months after my wife died from cancer, and we immediately fell in love. You know what she said to him? She said, Murph, you've been a recovering addict for 35 years from alcohol. She said that was one of those moments or circumstances or situation that could have triggered a relapse. She said God was protecting you. They had the most beautiful conversation. We talked yesterday at the gym, and it was so amazing. He said, man, Drew, since that day that I did that, he said, it caused me to go back, man, and really start praying to God. He said, man, I've been in heavy prayer. Now, this was a moment in a situation that we had, and it was talking about the guilt, right? That was that hairnet that was stuck down in his pipes, that wasn't allowing the fluidity of his love, of his true love, to go towards his wife, his now wife, January, a beautiful woman. So what I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is that pride and that ego is that hairnet stuck down in your pipes. And it's not allowing the fluidity of love, of prosperity, of healing, of joy, of happiness to flow in your life right now, period. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So that's why you're focused on something that's not working. That's why you're frustrated with things that aren't working, because you literally have hairnets of unforgiveness stuck down in your drain, and it won't flow. And it won't flow. I'm telling you, this forgiveness piece is the thing that is keeping you from being the greatest version of yourself. It's challenging you, man. Listen, it changed my life forever. It changed my life forever. I'm now able to trust God with all of my life. I've never been able to do that. I've been in the faith since I was born. I was born in the faith. I was literally born in a back pew of the church back in October 6, 1983. My mama had me on a pew of the church, literally. I was born at OSU. You understand me? But I've been in this thing my whole entire life, and it has not become as real as it has become to me when this forgiveness piece was introduced to my life. It changed everything. It allowed me to get to the place of truly trusting God with all of my heart, with all of my life. So anything that happens now, it has to be on God's terms. It has to be what God says. It has to be what God does. Why? Because all I'm going to do is trusting him and operate off of that trust. It ain't got nothing to do with Andrew Clayborn. It has nothing to do with the gifts that I have, with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I have. It has nothing to do with the books that I read. It has everything to do with God. Listen, you created me. You're my manufacturer. You're my father. You're my Abba. You're my source and sustainer. You are my progenitor. At the end of the day, if I fail, you fail. If I fail, you fail. You created me. You gave me life. You gave me these gifts. You gave me this story. You gave me these tests. You have testimonies. You gave me these circumstances. You gave me this journey. If I fail, you fail. How about that, champ? How about that, champ? If I fail, you fail. If I'm broke, you're broke. If I die, you die. If I live, you live. If I am abundant, I am abundant. I am abundance because of you. If I'm prosperous because of you. If I live because of you. You understand what I'm saying? This is the mindset and mentality that we're supposed to have. Nobody before they were born said, I want to live, period. Nobody before they were born said, I want to have big old thick eyebrows, a bushy beard, a great smile, these great popping eyes, these waves that's spinning like the 360 of the sea. You understand me? These muscles that's flexing on them. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say I wanted these incredible hawk veins coming out of my neck when I speak. I didn't say that. I didn't create me. Therefore, the manufacturer's name is on the line. And I trust him with all my heart. And the only way I got to this place in life is when I finally forgave. I finally forgave. I allowed the plumber to come in my life and get that hairnet up out my drain. And now his love, his prosperity, his knowledge, his wisdom, his understanding is flowing through my life like never before. Why? Because I understand the principle and power of forgiveness. Who are you not forgiving, kings and queens? I don't care if it's the smallest unforgiveness. I don't care if it's the greatest. If you have an opportunity to go to that person and say, man, listen, I resented you for years for what you did to me back then. Do it. If you don't have that opportunity, pray and release it. If that doesn't work, write a letter to that person. If that person is dead, write a letter, go to their grave and release it. Man, I'm telling you, y'all think that this stuff is silly? Man, listen, it's changing lives daily. I'm getting testimonies in my inbox. I'm getting phone calls on how this stuff is working. I'm not making this up. I promise you, I'm not making this up. It was created to be this way. We were created to walk in love. We were created to walk in abundance. We were created to walk in forgiveness. You're not supposed to hold nothing against no other man. Period. Why? Because it becomes the hairnet that's stuck in your drain and you're putting $50 worth of Drano a week in this daggone pipe and nothing is happening. The Drano is the things that we think take care of these things like monetary things, like a new car, like a new relationship, like a new friendship, like a new business transaction. We think that that's the cure, and the cure is the forgiveness. That's what's going to unclog your drains, kings and queens. Forgiveness. I promise you. I promise you, man, it changes your life forever. But the only way that you don't forgive is your ego. Your ego says to you, man, what if they reject me? What if they do not like the things that come out of my mouth? What if they don't agree with the things that come out of my mouth? The rejection, the fear of rejection. You know what's so crazy about that, right? Is the fact that you have no idea what the circumstance is going to be. That's what's so crazy. You have no idea what the result is going to be. Fear is false evidence appearing to be real. You don't even know, but the principle has to work. The principle has to work. This is God's principle. This is not man's principle. Fear is not real. The fear of rejection is not real. It's not. That's pride. That's ego. That is experiences that has happened and it causes you to be afraid to try again. But what about when you wanted a funky job and you put in an application and you went to have an interview and they rejected you and you didn't get the job? Did you quit? Did you quit to feed your family? Did you quit trying to provide for your family, or did you fill out another application and go on another interview and another application and another interview? You did all of that for a funky job? And you won't do this for the freedom of your spirit? You out your rabbit mind. You understand what I'm saying? You are out your rabbit mind. This is to free the being of who you are to become the greatest version of yourself, that you will stop looking and searching and working jobs and create jobs, because you become the leader. You become the greatness that God put inside of you. I'm trying to mold you and help mold you so you can become the greatest version of yourself. I'm not here to help you go get no job. I'm not here to help you just go get no relationship or friendship. I'm not here just to create you, help you to be created to be normal. I'm here to help and mold and shape you to become the greatest version of yourself. Period. Every word that I speak with passion, every word that I speak with conviction is to help you to become the greatest version of yourself. Why? Because that is what I seek daily. There is no average bone in my body no more. Get a little foggy in here. Must be getting a little heated back here on this microphone. Yeah. You understand me? There's no way I can't even conceptually grasp an idea of being average. Everything is full of greatness. Everything that I see is full of greatness. Every second and every moment is full of greatness. Why? Because we were created and poured from the cup of eminence itself, from greatness itself. Period. We weren't poured from mediocrity. We weren't poured out of average. We weren't poured from the bottle of being the average person. We weren't poured from that. We were poured from the cup of eminence. We were poured from the cup of greatness. You have greatness in your DNA. Nobody ever told you that, though. Nobody ever showed you that, though. I was talking to King Keith Camp, man, and this is my guy, man. Listen, man, I don't know what God was doing when he was making us, man, but he knew that we had to be brothers, man. He knew that one day we would connect, man, and we would do great things. And so I talk to this king almost every day, right? And I was sharing with him. I said, what's so fascinating about this Facebook Live thing? I said, what's so beautiful about this, right? I said is that we're fully capable of showing people the process. We're fully capable of going before people with this Facebook Live joint and showing people the ins and out of how we do it daily, every single day. They're going to be able to document our progress. They're going to be able to document the process. This is the joy. This is the beauty of what we have in 2016 going into 2017. So that people will not be able to deny this truth. Y'all won't be able to say, man, when Drew was sleeping on the couch of his mother and now Drew is sleeping in mansions, how the heck did he do it? Well, let's go back to Facebook Live. Let's go back and show him how we did it when we were speaking the same passionate way when we had nothing, and we're going to continue to speak the same passionate way when we have absolutely everything. Why? Because it's real. There go that sunlight kissing me on my face. Good morning, Fasha. Yeah. You understand me? Because everything that we are talking about is real. Everything. Every single thing. Listen, I don't care if you've been raped. I don't care if you've been molested. I don't care if you went through a divorce. I don't care if you've been lied on. I don't care if you've been fired from a job. I don't care if you was just beat up by a group of people. None of that matters to God, because everything that he permits and allow in your life is for a purpose. It's to help you to become one of the greatest people that we've ever seen in earth. That did not happen to you for you to be a victim. That happened to you to create the victor inside of you. You have greatness inside of you. That act of whatever happened to you, it was only there to try to stop the greatness. Man, y'all gotta feel me this morning, man. It was there to try to inhibit the greatness. It was there to try to become a distraction to the greatness. But the forgiveness is what's going to unlock your greatness. Because anytime you're holding resentment, anytime you're holding unforgiveness, anytime you're condemning somebody, it is saying that they're unfit for use. But he said, whatever measure you use, it shall be measured back to you. So if you're condemning somebody and deeming somebody unfit for use, then you're saying that you're unfit for use, and that's why you can't move on in life. That hairnet is blocking that drainage. Man, forgive that person. Forgive those people. Forgive yourself. And I'm telling you, when I say you will become the greatest version of yourself, you have not seen nothing yet. It doesn't matter if you're 40 years old. It doesn't matter if you're 60 years old. He used Moses when he was 80 years old. Abraham had a baby when he was 100 years old. It does not matter the age. If you're still alive, that means that you still have treasures inside of you. Don't believe that bull crap of that grace and mercy because he wanted you to just have old age. No, if you are here, the grace and mercy is for you to continue to pour out the treasures that you still have inside of you. What you waiting for? Oh, you couldn't move on because that unforgiveness that was in your heart. Listen, man. I understand that life will not put more on you than you can bear. Period. Life cannot demand more from you than it supplied you. Meaning that if life gave you $1 worth of living, it cannot ask for $1.25. Period. That's the bottom line. So when you finally able to accept that, you start looking at your past and the things that you experienced, as detrimental as they were. That's just like a molestation victim or a rape victim, right? Why wasn't I raped? Because God knew that it might destroy me if I was raped, or if another woman was raped, or if somebody else was raped. He allowed you to go through that process because he knew that it was going to burst something great out of you. Not to destroy you, not to punish you, not to make you go crazy, not to turn you into a homosexual, not none of the above. He said, man, there is greatness inside of this seed. So whatever I throw at this seed, I know that it can overcome. Consider my servant Job. Consider my servant Job. Consider my servant Job. He thought that much of you. He said, you're that great that I can throw the world at you and you'll become the greatest version of you that I've ever placed in the earth. Consider my servant Job. When you are able to embrace everything that's happened to you, and you're able to see everything that's happened to you, you will understand that you are being set up to be something that the world has not seen yet. But we need you. We need your gift. We need your treasures. Don't sit there and be bottled up in resentment and unforgiveness and hate and guilt, man. Let it go by forgiving. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Let it go by forgiving. It will change your life forever. You understand what I'm saying, kings and queens? Unforgiveness, resentment, guilt, those things do not exist in heaven. And he said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, just like it is in heaven. So when you finally recognize that everything that you've gone through, everything that you've experienced has been there to prepare you and to promote you, you'll stop looking at all the hardships that you've experienced as being detrimental. They came to distract the greatness that's inside of you. That's how valuable God believed that you are. That's how valuable that God believes that you are. That's like my brother KB. He lost his son at birth. I have not ever had to experience that. Why? Because he knew that my brother KB could handle it. He knew that I may not be able to handle something like that. There's been people who's lost their children. Some of them gunned down, some of them to prison, some of them to drugs. But when you understand the value of who you are, you understand that that did not happen to kill the womb that's inside of you. It happened so it can birth it. So it can bring out that seed of greatness that's inside of you. He said, be fruitful and multiply. He cannot command such a thing if he did not first make you seedful. These experiences come to cultivate the seed that's inside of you so that you can become the greatest version of yourself. But what's in your dream is that hairnet of unforgiveness, that hairnet of resentment, that hairnet of guilt, and it is keeping you from receiving the living water that will cultivate your seed and help you to become the greatest version of yourself. Forgiveness. Forgiveness will allow you to trust unconditionally again. People are having such a hard time moving on in relationships and friendships because of unforgiveness. And so when you go to your next situation, you always go conditionally. God is a God of unconditional. There is no limitation on God. When you move in something conditionally, you said that there is limitation. God is unlimited. He's infinite. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. He is eternal. He's everlasting. So therefore, if you were created in his same image and likeness to be a G-O-D, lowercase G-O-D, like himself, then there's no way that you can operate in limit. You cannot put limits on yourself, but when you operate in unforgiveness, then you have put limits on it because now it's become conditional. We are free. It says who the Son set free is free indeed. Free does not have no conditions. So your relationship failed again because you went in conditionally. Your business transaction didn't go through because you wanted it conditionally. Your friendships are falling apart because they're there conditionally. If they do things this way, then we're good. If they don't do things this way, then I'm walking away. That's conditioned. You can't get the fullness out. You cannot express the fullness of yourself. That's why Murph had to go to his wife and ask for forgiveness, because the guilt was having him operate in conditions. So when he released that guilt, he was able to then go to his wife and have a conversation that released the unconditional love that was necessary to have the greatest relationship that he can have right now. So I thank you guys for tuning in on this terrific Tuesday. And I pray over your life at this very moment that you literally go to yourself and forgive them and forgive yourself, so we can get the hairnet out of your drain and you can literally become the greatest version of you. I love you guys. God bless. If you want to donate any proceeds to this amazing movement, email me at andrewdclayborn@gmail.com. Inbox me and we can talk about the instructions on how to. But remember, man, this is not a look, it's a lifestyle. Because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an amazing impression on the earth. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Have a terrific Tuesday. Peace.